Hey everybody, this is Freddy with Freddy Can Fly. Welcome back. We're here at lesson 3. We went through lessons 1 and 2 at about a beginner to mid-level range. So now we're going to kind of stick around the mid-level here just a little bit. And in this lesson I wanted to cover some of your more turning maneuvers like lazy eights, figure eights, and combinations of that. We have changed our helicopter. We are flying a different, it's still 700 size, it's just a new model I got. So anyways, I think this is actually the Whiplash 90. It's a newer model designed by Bobby Watts. It's a really cool heli. Anyways, so we're comfortable with hovering, we're comfortable with doing our turns, our stall turns, things like that. So to step it up a notch, now we can kind of start working on figure eights. And figure eights are really tricky because in the center position of the figure eight where you transition between your different directions, there's a momentum change, and the momentum change is controlled typically by your cyclic deflection and also your collective. So it's something that takes a lot of time and experience to practice. Also, you can do big figure eights and small figure eights. So first attempt out on a figure eight, best thing to do is kind of start off slow. And obviously right now we're going to do kind of more of a tail based figure eight turn, which means we're going to get a nice wide turn. The key is you want to come right back at you, and then you want to get it going in the other direction. And that momentum shift I was talking about meets right at the center. From right now we're in a right hand turn. Momentum shift is going to take us to a left hand turn. And once you get that direction change, you got to give a little bit of positive pitch on your collective in order to keep momentum traveling you in the new direction. Otherwise you can actually just exit the turn and you'll lose your momentum. So tail based figure eights right here, nice big wide open ones, nice and slow, nice and easy, nothing too aggressive. This is a good one to get used to because it'll get you used to moving your sticks from left to right on the cyclic, and also moving your rudder right to left to control the turns as you come around. Once you get a little bit more fluent and comfortable doing these on a big scale, then what we can do is start doing momentum based figure eights, and those ones can get a little bit trickier because that shift in the center has to be a lot more spot on and a lot more precise. And I would recommend, before continuing on to those, really get good at the tail based figure eights, nice big powerful ones. And to take it one step further, if you're really looking to become a good pilot, there's no reason why we shouldn't learn them backwards as well. Same thing though, just tail based. No reason to get too heavy on the cyclic. Just focus that rudder around, making frequent but small adjustments on the cyclic to keep the heli moving. But learn them backwards as well, because this will make you all round a better skilled pilot than just knowing your forward based figure eights. Another thing you can also look at too is once you got both orientations down, forward and backwards, it's pretty cool to do. You can actually mix it up to where, okay, so we're going to do a backwards figure eight this way, but then we're going to transition the tail mid turn there, and now we're going to be coming at it forward. Same thing, we can come this way, transition that tail around, and it just adds a cool effect. It really makes you look skilled. You can even throw it into where you can slowly start working in those pirouetting figure eights if you want. Those ones do get a little tricky, so you might want to save those for more of an advanced time in your career. So tail based figure eights, get those down. So now let's move on to the momentum based figure eights. And so for those, it's going to be the same concept as our actual momentum based turns. We're going to use more cyclic and more pitch and a little less rudder. So we're gonna get the turn going. So now we've kind of got some good momentum built. Momentum change in the center. You're going to want to roll your aileron pretty hard to get that switch over. You'll see right here I roll pretty dang quick, and then I pull back on the elevator to continue that momentum around. Also, you're going to increase the pitch just a little bit to keep your heli moving. But that roll around, or that momentum switch in the center, is really crucial to keeping the heli going. And these are still just mild based momentum figure eights. I mean, I'm not really hitting it really crazy and really hard. Just trying to keep it nice and mellow. You see that one I actually kind of bailed out of a little bit. That one was sketchy. So, I mean, and that's how you want to do it. Make sure you keep the heli sideways on that sideways angle. We're going to transition in the middle, pull back on the elevator, follow through with pitch. Same thing, transition, pull back on elevator, follow through with pitch. So you'll get them nice and smooth like this. Also, once again, practice them backwards. It never hurts. And then you'll see that once you start getting more fluent at those, now we can really pick up the speed a little bit and start getting some nice tight ones. You know, we can really start picking up the pull on the elevator and aileron, as we talked about before. Obviously, those control the speed at which the heli is going to come through a turn. So, I mean, if we want to get some nice tight figure eights like this, you know, obviously we're going a lot quicker on our cyclic, and you know, and this isn't quite making a big looping figure eight. It's just nice tight movements, get you really used to it. If we want to do a figure eight where we're really cruising, obviously you're going to want to pick up a lot of forward speed, and then when you enter into the figure eight, you're going to use a lot of pitch to follow you around, and then a lot of cyclic deflection also to really get those turns cruising. And you want to be really careful when you do this, because last thing you want to do is at that momentum shift, man, there's a big chance that you can mess that up fairly easily and get a good crash. So if we want to go over real quick some do's and don'ts on practicing your figure eights, if I over pitch at that momentum shift, here's what happens. So I'm coming around, okay, and it's time to switch pitch. Now if I over pitch, I mean, I literally just kind of flip the heli because I'm on an aileron roll. I'm giving pretty hard aileron, and if you pitch it too hard, the heli's going to just jump. And I gunned it really hard, which, you know, most people wouldn't do that. So now if we don't give enough pitch at the transition point, let's see what happens when we do that. So we're going to come around to where our transition point is. Now if I don't really give any pitch during that momentum shift, you'll see that it kind of almost stalls out the heli. It doesn't keep you traveling in the desired direction. So once again, you got to learn to kind of mix the two together to get the desired effect. Also, your cyclic deflection does come into play on those as well. So get good at those figure eights. Now for a more advanced lesson real quick in figure eights, for those of you advanced pilots out there looking to kind of mix it up a little, now that we're fluent in figure eights, we can take those figure eights and, oh man, the possibilities are endless. We can do right side up figure eights because we're really good at them. As I was saying before, we can throw different tail transitions in there, start throwing in some backwards figure eights and making it look like we're, you know, getting fancy. And then also one of my favorite figure eights is known, I consider it to be a Mobius figure eight. And the way this one works is we're going to transition between inverted and also right side up flying during the figure eight. And I know we haven't gotten into too much inverted flying yet. We will, but this is just for video purpose. So same thing, there's going to be that transition point in the center here where we're going to give it a hard roll, shift our momentum, and then we're going to come back this way. Hard roll, shift that momentum, and now we're coming back this way. This is one of my favorite ways to do figure eights. It's just a lot more crowd pleasing, you know, it looks a little cooler. You know, to step it up even further, you can take this and now same thing, rotate that tail around as we're transitioning to where now we're going this way. You know, and these ones are pretty dang hard to do. You know, I've been practicing them for a little while, and they can get pretty tricky. So, but you know, that's just to kind of show you that there is really never-ending possibilities. Once you learn the basics of a simple maneuver, you can turn that maneuver into almost anything you want, as long as you remain in control at all times, guys. That's the really important part. Doing a little bit of freestyle in here while I'm talking. So figure eights, it's going to be lesson 3. Get those figure eights down, practice them on a really large scale first, and then come back to them on a really tight scale. You know, get those nice tight turns. Once you're really good at figure eights, you'll find that your orientation as far as hovering and stuff will actually increase in skill as well, because, you know, right now we're controlling the heli in all different orientations. We're banking it around left, we're banking it around right. You know, we're practicing momentum control while also practicing holding a constant altitude, And so figure eights are a great way to really bump up your skill level. You know, as far as the 3D stuff goes, wait until you're really ready for it. Obviously, to get into 3D, you're gonna have to learn video lessons 1 and 2, all inverted. So you're gonna have to learn how to do your basic hover orientations and all that, which we will be getting into that here shortly, further on down into the series. So that's gonna be it for lesson 3, you guys. Figure eights, learn your figure eights, get really good at them. Our next video, we're going to start getting into a little bit more advanced maneuvers, guys, like pirouette flips, tick-tocks, and more of your inverted stuff. Also, we'll start tackling some of the tricks you see a lot of the professionals do one at a time. That way we can get really good at them. We can learn them one trick at a time, and before you know it, you guys will be up and flying hard 3D, just like the rest of us. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Please comment, please subscribe. As always, we'll shoot an auto here at the end, and we'll see you on video 4.